As we're seeing more and more Americans standing up for their natural rights against political thuggery that has shut down their businesses, caused mass unemployment, and destroyed the supply chain, we're actually seeing Americans starting to resist. So let's look at examples from both Minnesota and California and see what free will and voluntary association mean, even as we see why Americans are standing up for their rights. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Indeed, American defiance is rising. From St. Paul, Minnesota, where a generous barber named Milan Denny, a man, by the way, who weeks ago collected thousands of rolls of toilet paper and hand soaps to donate to neighbors, has safely reopened in defiance of Democrat Governor Tim Walz and to the satisfaction of his voluntary customers, to two Arizona sheriffs who refused to enforce Republican Governor Doug Ducey's stay-at-home diktat. We're seeing the tide turning toward freedom. And ironically, perhaps no state better reflects this peaceful defiance than that bastion of leftism, California, where pro-liberty people are defying the collectivist command of Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom. At the tip of the spear marched the staff of the El Dorado Diner, Cafe El Dorado, a tiny restaurant located along Pleasant Valley Road that just opened for in-house dining in defiance of Newsom's threats. Offered owner Sherry Baldridge.
If you want to come in, you come in. If you don't, you don't.
Well said. And customers did. Word spread. People were happy.
I found myself just smiling the whole time. So it's like, wow, this feels awesome.
Well, it felt like getting back to normal.
It was a Pleasant Valley Sunday, but this isn't sitting well with the political commissars of California. Baldridge also received an email on Thursday from the El Dorado County Environmental Management Department, the group that issues restaurants permits and conducts health inspections. The email said the department received a complaint and requested, "Please do not allow sit-down service at this time," citing the statewide order. And this goes to the heart of the problem that existed prior to Newsom's statewide fascist shutdown. A problem that exists in every state: licensing and permitting by the government. The battle against this kind of shutdown is already lost when people don't defy state commands that individuals have to get licenses or permits from the government just to offer things to others. As I discussed with students, licensing is a faulty precept and leaves entrepreneurs like Ms. Baldridge and Mr. Denny in St. Paul vulnerable to the state shutting them down by pulling their licenses at any time. It's nothing more than a shakedown racket to control lives and livelihoods. Something that I show students is actually not what drives safety at restaurants. That is commerce, free choice, and reputation that spur restaurant owners to do better and better so that they can prosper. And it's licensing that is the seed of perverse control that's planted by politicians demanding that people get licenses to engage in peaceful, voluntary market transactions where no force is applied. The only group that operates through force is the government. And because of the state and its anti-liberty nature, Ms. Baldridge was at risk of losing everything, even as clientele were prevented from making free choices about their own lives.
Baldridge says she had to reopen after getting 2 eviction notices.
One more month, I was done, she said. No more business, livelihood, life savings, gone. In fact, so many responded, the cafe ran out of food an hour before the expected closing time. But perhaps the fact that people exercise their rights will sustain them until tomorrow and allow them to see that they're not alone. In fact, even as Ms. Baldridge stood up for her rights, hundreds of strong-willed people showed up at the California Capitol building to teach Newsom and the state assembly a lesson about freedom. on May 1st as dozens of armed and helmeted police lined up, and by the way, no social distancing for them. The California people faced off, holding signs and recording the insulting show of government force. And one man, a doctor named Cordy Lee Williams, climbed onto a piece of concrete, lifted a megaphone, and talked to those police officers.
Are you going to stand down? In the face of tyranny, in the face of freedom, are you going to sit there in your riot gear against peaceful protesters? Or are you going to say, you know what? It's time to stand up for my country. Because I took an oath of office and it said I will defend all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Williams is a former U.S. Marine who swore a similar oath. And he added,
You know, you might lose your job, but I'd rather lose my job than lose my soul.
Enough said. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed. Please share these with your friends because, as you know, MRC-TV is one of those that has been pinpointed by some of the social media and tech giants out there for suppression of our message. And head over to MRCTV.org to find out the panoply of all the great things that everyone has been doing. And if you want some great fashions, well, indeed, you can flash them in the faces of leftists. Go to MRC-Store for Media Research Center swag. For MRC-TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.